What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Cleveland Sports Unfiltered. So, over the course of free agency, there's been a lot of discourse on why didn't Andrew Barry, excuse me, why didn't Andrew Barry bring in another quarterback? Rather, it was Malik Willis, traded for Anthony Richardson, go trading for Geno Smith, traded for Anthony Richardson. If I didn't said him already, my apologies. Um, but Kyler Murray or signing Kyler Murray or anything like that. There's been a lot of discourse about why the Browns haven't made any moves at the quarterback position, and then also there's been a lot of arguments on the internet from both sides of Shedeur fans and Browns fans. Shedeur fans is upset with Browns fans that some Browns fans or however they think of it, some or most Browns fans are making it anybody but Shedeur. And some Browns fans are looking to just improve the quarterback position, and there are some that is on the anybody but Shedeur crowd. But I want to talk about why Shedeur being QB1 is not only what it's looking like, but why it's a good thing on both sides. Whether you're a Shedeur fan and whether you're a Browns fan, why it's a good thing that he's QB1 this year coming up. So if you look at it, like I said, there was no moves made by Andrew Barry at the quarterback position, whether it's signing or going out in free agency or trade to get a quarterback to add to the room. My thinking process is they're probably going to add uh, maybe a fifth round quarterback pick, fourth round at best, fourth round, fifth round QB developmental guy to add to the room. Add an extra body and probably get rid of Dylan. So it'd be Shedeur QB1, Deshaun 2, emergency quarterback is the development project that we get at whenever we draft them. But I do think Shedeur being the starter is a good thing. Look at it like this: if he finds out that he's the guy, not only did we solve quarterback position, we found it in the fifth round. We did like everybody else said. We did like how we wanted it. He found it in the fifth round. We developed him, and he's on the contract for cheap. So that means the year after, we can really, really invest. We can go out and get a big time receiver, or we can go out and get, insert said big name that would hit free agency or anything like that, or trade for a big time player that we feel like we would need to elevate ourselves to Super Bowl contender if we find out that Shedeur actually is the guy because we gave him a better system, a better line, and better weapons, and we found out he's the guy. Of course, you know, he's also has his mistakes, but of course, I think in time, given time, some of the mistakes that he does have, he can fix. But also, him off the field is a great thing for the Browns, in my opinion. I know not too many people share the same sentiment and only worried about on the field. And that's fair. That's fair. Some people are just, the result based oriented, and I'm fine with that. But I'm mostly that too, like result based. But if you're a great person off the field, which he is, and he's been a great ambassador for the Browns since he was drafted, that's a luxury. His teammates love him, coaching staff love him, the organization love him. That's also another reason. Like, you just listen to anybody talk about him. Listen to Myles Garrett. Listen to Denzel, Shelby Harris, Andrew Berry. Todd Monken. You just listen to anybody talk, and they'll basically all but tell you, Shedeur's the guy. Now I know Andrew and Todd dances around it because they got to give you the political speak, and that's fine. Of course, that's fine. But just from the outside looking in, and the lack of move they made at the quarterback position, it all looks like Shedeur is just, primed to be QB1. Not saying it's going to be handed to him. Of course, he has to go in there and earn it. But I do think he's earned it through his play from last year. Now, I know that's a hot topic. I know, a lot of you would disagree with that. But I do think he's earned another opportunity to be the starting quarterback. I don't think he should be given it. I think he's earned the opportunity to be handed the first reps, because if you look at the other two guys in the room, you can't tell me those other two has earned, the crack at the first team reps come whenever they back in the building and starting. I think Shedeur has earned the right to have the first reps and the first shot at QB1. Whether he wins it and whether he can beat out Deshaun or not, that's neither here nor neither there. That's TBD. But I do personally think that, Shedeur can be QB1 next year. And also, Browns fans, I want you to look at it as also what I said earlier, all the good things about if he is QB1 and the good about it. But also, if he's bad enough, we can get rid of him next year. That's what Shedeur fans are. Not Shedeur fans. Some of the logical fans. His sycophants is his sycophants. I'm not going to get involved with them. I don't want them to attack me or anything like that. But, we can, if he's not good, we get a good draft pick. We take say Arch Manning, because if we get the number one pick, because his name is Arch Manning and he's breathing, he's gonna go number one. So we can, if he's bad, we get the number one pick. We draft Arch Manning, and we can trade Shedeur and be rid of Shedeur and his fans and all of that stuff. That's what some of the Shedeur fan base, at least the logical portion of his fan base, is basically saying. And I can understand their frustration, because he has in a certain way earned the right to at least, like I said, earn the first crack at QB1. Not saying he deserves to be out there the entirety of the season, because let's say he hasn't learned from his lack of game situational awareness. He hasn't improved on that. I'm not saying if he has, let's say, 6 picks in the first 3 weeks, just keep trotting them out there. Let's just keep trotting them out there. Absolutely not. No, you sit him, bench him, or you do whatever, you trade for another or whatever. I'm not saying that, but I do understand what some of his fans are saying, but I can understand your frustration because of his sycophants and the way they attack us and the way they are just uber everywhere and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I can understand you guys' frustration. I've myself found it a little frustrating at times to even talk to Sanders fans online and deal with them, but those are his sycophants. Not every single Sanders fan is, one of those crazy sycophants who think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Some of them are legitimately just, if you just sit and talk to them, or just actually read the comments or anything, however you seeing it or however you interacting with a Shedeur fan online, if you listen to the logical ones, most of the logical ones are just saying we just want the opportunity for him to, get the first cracks at QB1. And like I said, it's a win-win either way. If he's good, we got our guy. We found him in the 5th round. We developed him. We can say we developed him. And, he's under contract. All the stuff I said before. And, again, if he's bad, we get the first pick. We get crack at insert set quarterback, Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Dante Moore. You insert a name, and that's who we can go after with the first pick if Shedeur is bad enough to, get us that pick next year. But I look at it as a win-win. Now I know, I will be questioning on how is, Shedeur losing us the season to win when we're doing nothing but losing and it might cost us miles. And I can understand that, but that's a good rebuttal. But also, if it lands you your franchise quarterback in the next draft, by all means. But I don't think that, just not giving him the opportunity to do it is the right approach. Now I get it. I said I understand his fans can be annoying, his fans can be frustrating to deal with, and all of that good stuff. But I do think that it's set up for him to be QB1. You just look at the moves that they did make and the moves they didn't make. I think he should be QB1, but those are just my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And until next time, peace.